Big emotions and big desires are getting stirred up as Jupiter gets ready to go direct in Cancer. March 10th in the United States, March 11th elsewhere. Will big blessings follow Jupiter going direct? Let's discuss. So welcome to the channel, or welcome back. My name is Stella Wilde, your anti-doom, no BS astrologer, host here of Coffee and Cosmos. Thank you so much for joining me today. So we are going to discuss the saga of Jupiter's transit through Cancer. We're going to throw it back a little bit to when Jupiter first went into Cancer on June 9th, 2025. I'm going to give you some dates that I want you to think about in your life, where you were, what you were doing, what new seeds you were planting, etc. Then we're going to bring it back to the station direct, and also a very important date that is coming up in June 2026 that you definitely want to put on your calendar. I'm going to talk with a real life example of what I've been doing with this Jupiter and Cancer energy, and then we will check in with each of the zodiac signs quickly, give you some things to think about and how you can best use this energy from now until June 30th when Jupiter goes into Leo. So Jupiter entered the sign of Cancer June 9th, 2025. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, meaning that its qualities of expansion and growth are particularly well suited to Cancer's emotional waters. I mean, think about it. Cancer is about our emotions, ruled by the moon, our heart space, our home, our foundation in life, what makes us feel good, what makes us feel happy, what nurtures our well-being. I mean, it's that nurturing word. And Jupiter expands, grows whatever house it's transiting in, whatever energy it touches. So you can see this stirring of big emotions, big desires with Jupiter transiting through Cancer. So where do you have that in your chart? Let me know in the comments. And were you feeling kind of a stirring of big emotions to manifest something important to you in the Cancer area of your chart? Back on August 12th, 2025, throw it back to then, cast your mind back, Venus in the sky in Cancer met up with Jupiter. This is one of the most lucky, quote unquote, transits in astrology. I mean, think about it. Venus, our heart's desires, love, money, happiness, joy, right? Hooking up with the planet of expanding those things in the sign of our emotions, our heart space, things that make us feel filled with joy, have our cup overflow with happiness. I mean, think of like the Ace of Cups in tarot. It's like that vibe. Maybe even the Ten of Cups, really. So what were you doing? Was there a big seed that got planted August 12th for you? Did you start something new? What were you emotionally really dialed into at that time? Now, most planets go retrograde at some point or another, though each planet has a different cycle of retrogradation. Jupiter went retrograde in the sign of Cancer at 25 degrees on November 11th. When Jupiter goes retrograde, it can, yes, bring about a temporary pause, a rethink, a redo, a reconsideration, all the rewords of, okay, what am I focusing my desires on? What might I need to do extra, more? Jupiter, expand and grow in terms of nurturing that seed and making it happen. It can be a moment with Jupiter retrograde. Of course, it lasts longer than a moment. It lasts a few months. But during the Jupiter retrograde, it can be a time of trust, faith. That's very Jupiterian. Let's not forget Jupiter rules Sagittarius, which is a lot about our life philosophy. So having that optimism, also very Sagittarius, very Jupiter, optimism and faith that what was working beneath the surface while Jupiter's retrograde still has the potential to grow. It's just, it can be that there was a slowdown. Maybe there was a more inward focus of, your hopes and dreams and desires. And perhaps, yes, perhaps a little bit of a test of faith. And now, here we are, March 10th, March 11th, depending on where you are in the world, Jupiter going direct once again. And here's the part that's freaking interesting, is that Jupiter is going direct on the exact degree, 15 degrees Cancer, where it met up with Venus, or Venus met up with it back in August 2025. So we may see major reactivations of luck, blessings, expansion, our faith and optimism finally paying off with the seed we planted back in August of 2025. Because it's no coincidence. It's a divine synchronicity, in my opinion, that Jupiter is going direct at the same degree where it met up with Venus. This suggests a continuation of the story that started in August for you. Now, this is the next date I would like you to put on your calendar. And that is June 9th, 2026, when once again, we will have Venus in the sky meet up with Jupiter at 25 degrees Cancer. So there may be a beautiful blessing that culminates for you with this whole long Jupiter story that's been going on. And what is very interesting is that when Venus meets up with Jupiter that second time in June of 2026, it will be on the degree where it went retrograde in November. So you see how all of this energy is connected, and especially look at where you have 15 degrees Cancer in your chart, 25 degrees Cancer in your chart, because if you have certain planets there, whatever the house is for you, if you need help with that, you can always book a personal reading with me. But that can be a major zone of activation for you, of potential harvest and blessings. Okay, so if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know I like to apply astrology to real life. This is not just theory. Okay, so often I will share a few personal stories to show you astrology in action. So we're going to discuss that very briefly. Then I'll get to each one of the signs and, some things to keep in mind. But June 9th, 2025, the very next day after Jupiter went into Cancer, I made an important phone call. I called a place in North Carolina where I wanted to move to. I had been manifesting that for months. I had been looking at different places even before Jupiter went in Cancer. I was like, do I want this? Do I want that? What do I think? Should I really move back to North Carolina? Etc. Watch this video if you haven't seen that already. Okay, about where do I belong in life? It's very relevant, especially with Jupiter in Cancer. So again, Cancer, right? Home life, where you belong, your roots, what nourishes you emotionally, and that includes places. So I made that phone call in June. I got the ball rolling. Guess what happened the beginning of August when Venus was meeting up with Jupiter in the sky? I was in my new place back in North Carolina. That's the big seed I personally planted. Now, Cancer is my 7th house, right, of relationships. And so for me, this was more about, this whole Jupiter transit, I think, has been about reestablishing relationships, not just with a place I'm living, but the relationship with myself and also with the relationship with people here on my channel. Because guess what happened in November when Jupiter went retrograde? That's when I thought about how do I want to show up in the world, talk to y'all, and continue building relationships on this channel because I knew something had to change. I've discussed that in this recent video if you want more on that. So now, as we're coming back around, Jupiter is getting ready to go direct. I have made changes on the channel, which you may have seen. More are coming, more things, exciting things on the way. I'm working on a brand new writing project. There's so much happening, and I am excited because I see that there is a momentum connected with what I did back in August, where I reestablished my roots that nourish me and feed me. This is very Jupiter in Cancer. Now, what's also interesting is that when Jupiter and Venus meet up in June, that will be exactly on my North Node in Cancer. So I am excited to see how the story will continue to evolve, and maybe some also, as yet unbeknownst to me currently, new direction may also evolve out of that. New growth, new things that, maybe they're on my radar now. Maybe they'll come into my radar over the next couple months. We'll see. I stay open with that stuff. So think again, your own saga of what's been going on. How have you been using the energies with this Jupiter in Cancer transit? Because like I say all the time, that's what it is about. So right now, as Jupiter stations direct, once again, as it has the next few months to wrap up its once in every 12 years journey through Cancer, it is about reactivating big dreams, big desires, and hopefully big blessings. So Aries, Cancer is your 4th house of home, family, and roots, what nourishes you and what feeds you. And so what's getting reactivated for you is a sense of where do you belong? Where are you at home in the world? What makes you feel stable? And you may have had major rethinks, or you may have been starting new things in terms of where you feel a sense of growth, optimism, and future stability. And that's maybe the things that you're going to be working on the next couple of months to bring this transit to its successful conclusion. Like, are you really in the right place? Not just the 4 walls, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, all of the things. So for you, Taurus, what might be getting reactivated with Jupiter moving direct in your 3rd house of communications and your mindset is that you may see that you are now able to make some sort of important decision about moving forward with your life in a profound, transformational way. I think some of you have been contemplating a huge, life-changing decision. It may be something that is as a result of all the Uranian transit that's been going on, stirring you up and forcing a lot of change on you the last 7 years. And now that we're coming to the end of that transit, and as Jupiter is going direct as well, I think like the timing is right for you to make some big decision about your life that is deeply transformative. Like a big move. Maybe you're changing some sort of relationship because it doesn't fulfill you anymore. Remember, Cancer is all about the emotional fulfillment, the nurturing, right? It's what nourishes you and what feeds you. And so it's that type of deep transformation that, yes, you may feel is long overdue, but now you have the mental headspace and the clarity perhaps to actually make that decision and move forward with it. So Gemini, what's getting reactivated for you, probably with Jupiter going direct in Cancer, is some sort of commitment to your financial growth. So yes, the last several months with Jupiter retrograde, maybe things slowed down financially, economically for you. It is possible. Maybe you just didn't feel such a commitment to certain values or goals anymore. And again, you were rethinking if you wanted to forge ahead with those. So Jupiter going direct now can give you that sense of reactivating and refocusing on that which is important to you when it comes to what feeds your self-worth and also what feeds your bank account. So, there may be ways you're making decisions to grow in new directions so that you can make more money and also feel better about how you're making that money. So Cancer, you are the star of the show, of course, Jupiter in your sign. So As it reactivates and moves forward in your first house of the self, this is all about moving forward with things that make you feel good, that support your well-being. There may be changes that you're going to be able to finally implement when it comes to daily habits, routines, schedules, and how they support your well-being. So this includes your physical well-being, of course, because we're talking about the first house. So you may find that you go back to healthier eating. You go back to exercise that helps you. You go back to your maintenance regimen, finally, of doctor's appointments and things of that nature. You may find finally things move forward for you because you are feeling better and you're able to take on more work or look for different work. That's also possible with this, and finally feel like maybe doors are opening for you in that area. So very positive energy to, continue the expansive growth of whatever you want to focus on in terms of what makes you feel good. I mean, what nurtures you emotionally, that's what it's all about for you, of course. And, let me know in the comments what that means for you. Some it's home and family, some it's career, some it's this, some it's that. Whatever it might be for you, this could be a glorious time of blessings coming in, but it's all about using the energies, of course. Remember, what you focus on expands. Keep your vibe high. Take care of yourself. Be optimistic. Be of good cheer. Have that sense of faith. And let's see what unfolds. Because remember, Jupiter will not return to your sign for another 12 years. So make the most of this particular energy. So Leos, Jupiter moving direct, finally reactivating your 12th house of hidden blessings, protection, synchronistic arrangements, divine timing, these types of things. Jupiter, when it's going through our 12th house, very much has the energy of an angel on your shoulder. Like, again, protection from ancestors, behind the scenes, whatever you believe in, that has got your back. So as this energy goes direct and reactivates, you could see that certain things that have been delayed, you may see the reasons why they were delayed. You may see divine timing showing up in your life a lot more over the next couple of months and being really in tune with that particular energy. This is also a good time for you to kind of get yourself spiritually straightened out. And I don't mean that in a shaming or negative way, but just to re-examine your growth cycle, what you've been doing the last 12 years. Have you manifested certain goals or not? All in preparation for Jupiter getting into your sign. 12th house is, the end of things. It is a wrap up. So this can just be kind of like a spiritual re-examination of your Jupiter journey the last 12 years. And, things you may still want to just kind of heal, let go with love, maybe things you're grateful for now, etc. You get my point, all in preparation for expanding into the opportunities of a lot of growth that can happen when Jupiter goes into your sign very soon. So Virgos, for you, Jupiter is reactivating your 11th house of hopes, wishes, and dreams, friendships, and of course, personal gains. So this is a very good time for you to check in with yourself and see, am I investing my emotional energy and nurturing the things that are really important to me right now? Have my hopes and dreams shifted? What did I plant? What seed did I plant or activate in August? Am I still on board with that and continuing to work with that energy, fertilize that seed with my time and attention, or do I need to readjust and do something else now until the end of this particular transit? You may see that finally there can be fruits of your labors that start to come in. Again, if you've worked with the energy in the past, you planted the seeds because this is your house of personal gains. So yes, it is possible that finally there is a harvest for you. So Libras, Jupiter is reactivating your 10th house of the public, your career. Also, the 10th house can be your marriage partner if you have one. So if things seem to be very heavy with your career, if things seem to be stalled, if there weren't opportunities or there wasn't movement forward, or maybe if something was going on with your spouse and his or her career, those things could finally see forward movement. Also, 10th house is a spotlight on us. So depending on your personal situation, what you have going on in your life, finally the spotlight comes back to you in some way with this Jupiter going direct. And this could be opportunities to perform in public, to show up in the public in some way that really, again, nurtures your soul and spirit. If you're retired, as an example, maybe you finally find the right volunteer opportunity or part-time job you want to do so that you can interact with other people and, feel the vibes, so to speak, and not feel so alone. So there can be, apply the energies to your life, but it's like this type of thing. There can be a reactivation, a re-engagement with the public in some way that feels very good and feels very right. But it's about, of course, you using the energies. Things just don't fall into our laps. So if you're interested in those particular examples, these types of things represented by the 10th house, go out and get them. Use this Jupiter energy. Doors may open a lot more smoothly for you now in these areas. Scorpio, Jupiter is reactivating and going direct in your 9th house of expansion and growth and travel and learning and publishing and academia and spiritual studies and your life philosophy. Just, feeling a sense of optimism and growth with whatever you are focusing on. So there could be a reinvigoration of any of these types of areas for you. Maybe you're finally finishing up a book manuscript these next couple of months as Jupiter goes direct. Maybe you had a little writer's block the last couple of months, when Jupiter was retrograde. Maybe you're finally able to come to some sort of philosophical understanding, this is very 9th house, of your past in some way, okay? Maybe you're finally able to invest your energy into growth and expansion, into something that truly matters to you. And yes, might also bring a little money. So all of this is what might be stirring for you in the few months ahead. Sagittarius, your ruling planet finally going direct. I think you'll feel a lot better once it goes direct. Reactivating your 8th house of other people's resources, of transformation of all kinds. So finally, you might see some sort of improvement when it comes to other people's money, like people who pay you. I liken, employers in that. I also, it can also be income tax refunds or other type of money you get from clients, other people, these types of things, grants, awards, sponsorships, all of these kind of money deals. Finally, maybe things are moving forward in this direction for you over the next couple of months. This is a great time to apply for those types of things as well. Now that your, planet's moving direct, what changes did you make? What seed did you plant back in August? Maybe if there was an investment of time, money, and energy that you made in August, you could start to see the fruits of that come in, especially in these 8th house areas over the next couple of months. So there, again, you can still start new things with this energy as well. But this can be about, again, how are you using the resources that come to you from other people of the world to transform your life in some sort of significant way? Because that is also what the 8th house is about. So it's going to be about leveraging that particular energy. So Capricorn, Jupiter reactivating your 7th house, Cancer, other people, relationships, both business and personal in your life. And it could be that over the next couple months, there could be new connections coming in because you have changed something about the way you do relate and connect to other people. Maybe you've let go of some baggage over the last couple months with Jupiter retrograde, in Cancer. Maybe you've healed some past stuff. And there's this sense for you of trying again. Now, not with somebody you've already let go of. I'm not saying that, but trying again in terms of a new way you're connecting, growing, and nurturing the relationships in your life. And what I mean by trying again is doing it from a place of greater healing, greater awareness, and greater boundaries in your life. And also, I think an improved picker, like you're choosing better with the types of relationships that you do invest in and not looking at them. I mean, I'm saying invest, but it is an investment to spend time with someone, to get to know them. Again, whether business or personal, and invest your time and energy into that. And so you're doing, I think, a lot better job and have been with choosing the right people for you. And I think as a result, you may see some new and improved people coming into your life over the next couple of months that are more aligned with the Capricorn 2.0 way of doing relationships. So Aquarius, for you, Jupiter is reactivating, re-energizing, moving forward in your 6th house of work and well-being. And so finally, there may be some personal gains that start to come in on a more frequent basis. Like maybe your business finally picks up a little bit. Maybe there's just more time in the day to do a few things you would like to do for yourself, pursue your own wishes in some way. So there is the sense here of growth and expansion and happiness in terms of how you're taking care of yourself and working toward your dreams. And I just feel a greater sense of flow, ease, and alignment for you with those particular things. And I do think there might be, it's very possible. There's no guarantees in life, okay? But you especially, I want you to pay attention to, we all should, but you especially, that energy of June 9th when Venus meets up with Jupiter, because I just have a feeling there could be a beautiful fairy wish that might manifest. Again, might, no guarantees, manifest for you. I think June could be a very potent month for you, Aquarius. And Pisces, for you, your 5th house of your heart space is being re-energized and reactivated with this glorious Jupiter going direct. So heart's desires, things that you have really wanted to manifest, the further continuation of whatever seed you planted back August with a pure heart and, gorgeous hopes and dreams, things could really start moving forward for you. And it may also be connected possibly with publicity in some way, if this is connected with something you do for pleasure, like, your beautiful garden roses winning a prize at the county fair, something like this. It may be connected with your career in some way, that you're finally feeling a sense of optimism and growth and something beautiful manifesting for yourself. So you may be taking yourself to the next level in some way with, not just your 5th house matters, but also with your career house matters. So, yes, it can be beautiful successes, maybe some good news in relation to children or grandchildren in your life. Possibly a new romance that goes public in some way. Like you may take the romance pretty public pretty fast. But remember, Mercury's retrograde till March 20th. Just saying on that. But again, there could be something that you're just doing for pleasure that has a surprising, beautiful result for you by the time we get to June. that takes you, I think there's a little surprise in store for you. I really do. Again, no guarantees, but in a delightful way and it involves something like, again, with the public in a public sphere. That's why I keep getting this vision of like I said before, your roses winning a prize at the county fair. It's that type of vibe I am feeling, something that you have just poured your heart and soul in, and you weren't doing it to look for recognition, but you may get recognition anyway. And you know what? It's very well deserved. So I would love to hear from you in the comments by the time we get to June 9th, when Venus meets up in the sky with Jupiter once again in the sign of Cancer. Where do you hope you will be? What do you hope will have manifested for you at that point? What blessing are you looking forward to welcoming into your life through, of course, using the energies? I would love to hear in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode of Coffee and Cosmos. Very much appreciate you guys being here. Remember, if somebody could use these messages, share the video out with them, hype it, thumbs up, all the things that really help out the channel and get these messages out to more people who could benefit from them. And I thank you for doing so. You guys are awesome. I will be back again soon with some more videos and a special Jupiter video follow-up to this one. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss it. Take care. I will see you again soon. Stella Wilde, signing out.